Good morning. This is Chip Taylor coming to you from Zalisi, Ukraine, here in southwest Ukraine. We have a small organic farm here where we raise peppers, tomatoes, other things like that, in order to produce Mexican food. And we do things a little bit differently here. I'm standing in a plot that was conventionally farmed for probably the last century, maybe the last 2 centuries. And what we've done is converted it over to organic. I had barley in here, and actually there's still some. You might see some of it coming back up behind me. There's a line of barley there. Next to me, I think it's chickpea. That doesn't belong to me. This is just a small section, 16,000 square feet. I've got another one about 3/4 of a mile away that's about the same size. We've got organic Oaxacan corn growing over there, and this plot we just put in the barley to cut it for hay for the animals, and then build up nutrients in the soil, increase organic matter, water retention, that kind of stuff, weed suppression. I got my raggedy shirt on today. It's one of my favorite shirts, and not looking too professional this morning, but that's my stuff. I get to do just about whatever I want. Here, I wanted to talk to you this morning about not really taking risks, but let's just see what happens. This plot's a good example of it. You know, I came in here and I broadcast barley. I didn't cultivate the land. I took it the way that it was left to me in December, which is the gentleman had corn planted on it. He cut the corn, he turned it under, and so it was still a little rough, a lot of material laying on top. Not as much as I would have preferred, but there was some on top. And so we took it in March after the freeze. We were pretty sure that we'd had our last frost, and started turning the soil, kind of cleaning it up a little bit, not really tilling it. Then I broadcast barley. What that means is I just took a handful of barley and scattered it, and it worked. People have been doing that for thousands of years, and got a crop. Got a good bit of weeds, but we got a crop, and it worked. I thought, let's try this and see what happens, and we see what happens. Now, I don't really have the equipment to harvest the barley, but we do have the ability to cut it and stack it in the hay barn and give it to the animals over the winter. And then a good bit of it we're just going to let lay, and it'll provide us with soil protection from erosion, and will suppress weeds in the spring. And then we'll come back through and plant directly into that. Haven't decided what we're going to put here. Looking for a spot to put our garlic and onions, and this might be the place. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what it does over the winter. Well, over the next few months, actually, because we've got to put garlic in the ground. It would be nice if we did that in October. But I've spent the last 30 plus years seeing what will happen. If I do this, what will happen? And, you know, what have I got to lose? What are the possible benefits? When I got sober, when I quit drinking, I've been drinking for years and years, and sticking needles in my arm, that kind of stuff. And some people came to me and offered me a solution, and so we just decided, let's see what happens. I've been sober ever since. After that, a couple of years, I still didn't have a high school education. I was 27, 28. And I thought, well, let's see what happens. Let's pursue at least a GED. And did that surprisingly successfully without much. Well, I didn't do anything to prepare for it, and did well. In that process, we decided to find out what happens if you go to college. And I was in school at 30 with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds, and did well. And then, we decided to go to Florida, see what happens. Go to Arizona, see what happens. And then go into the ministry. Let's see what happens. I became an ordained Baptist pastor in 2005, and felt called. Let's see what happens. Got an opportunity to come to Moscow to teach Russians and Ukrainians how to be alcohol and drug counselors. I've been sober almost 20 years then. Moscow. I don't speak Russian, don't know the culture. Well, let's see what happens. Came to Ukraine, really in 2007, but solidly in 2008, because the political situation between the U.S. and Russia had gotten a little difficult. So let's just move everything from Moscow to Ukraine. Let's just see what happens. Came here on this farm. I was offered an opportunity to be the director of a alcohol and drug rehab here. Work with ATO veterans, soldiers from the Russian-Ukrainian war, on this little piece of dirt, and see what happens. There's a lot of stuff like that I have done that I did not anticipate the result as much as I thought. Well, what's the worst that can happen, number one, and what are the possible benefits? And by doing that, my life has been an adventure, to say the least. We're pretty happy doing what we're doing now. I turned 60 a few weeks ago, and one of the unanticipated results of turning 60 is, as little as I cared about what people said or thought negatively about anything, let alone me. After 60, I'm like, I really care even less. It's an opportunity to see things a little bit differently. This pandemic, this whole COVID thing, it's allowed me and a whole lot of other people, I hope, to reevaluate their priorities. What's important, what's not. Do I have enough food to last for a year? Do I have a source of water, a source of heat, a source of shelter? The primary stuff, the basics. Not what year is my car. I don't have a car. Not how big is my TV screen. I don't have a TV. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that just became pretty unimportant through the years, but certainly as a result of a worldwide pandemic, whether you believe in it or not, doesn't make any difference to me. What your politics are, it makes no difference to me. I kind of try to avoid things that don't have any direct effect. I keep informed, but I'm pretty detached from participation. There's a whole nother way to live over here. Well, it's everywhere. There's a different way to live, but the source, the location of this different way to live is between your ears. You can participate in detachment, not get drugged down. Wear the garments of the world, or wear the world like a loose garment. I heard that when I first got sober. It's just a whole lot easier this way. If there's something you can use, if this is somehow interesting to you, hit like, hit subscribe, send a comment. If you got a question, you want some direction, not advice, but direction, send me a message. Be more than happy to help you out. Hope you have a blessed day.